Let's talk about the Indiana Fever and how good they've looked coming out of the break from the top down. Because after all the fuss after the All Star game about how the Phoenix Mercury were trying to recruit Caitlin Clark as if that was possible, how did they respond? Right away, organization said next party at our house. All Star game will be in Indiana next year. Also, social media team. Their social media team have stepped up a lot, whether you've noticed it or not. But everything has been our rookie of the year, our rookie of the year, really standing behind Caitlin Clark. They put a little bit more spice in their captions. You got to know, but that's what they've been doing recently. I've seen it. I'm not sure if there's been a change in the social media team or not, but kudos to them either way for the change in tone and stepping it up a little bit more in support of our girl, Caitlin Clark, and the team in general. But you like to see it, right? She's not going anywhere. Also, Caitlin Clark looking a lot more refreshed. You would expect that from everybody across the league, but she and a lot of the other rookies who really came right from the tournament into playing into the WNBA this season obviously needed a break, and you can see right away she looks a lot more refreshed on her jumpers. 4 from 11 from three. It wasn't like she shot lights out, but improved from her season percentage. 50% from the field, but more importantly, her drives to the rack looked like they were a lot more energized. Like she had a little bit more turbo on those drives. Love to see that. 9 from 10 from the free throw line. Now that's something I've been talking about all season. Even when there was a lot of discussion about her getting more field goal attempts up, I said that really the biggest difference between her 20-point games and her 30-point games is her ability to get to the free throw line, and that's something that the team needs. Especially last night, it was needed because Kai Copper was getting there at will, so she was able to kind of even that out. Well, not really, but somewhat. Great job getting to the free throw line. That was the biggest thing that I liked seeing. Only 4 real turnovers. That fifth didn't count because she just held the ball at the end of the game and let it clock out. But 10 assists to 4 turnovers. You love that. Kelsey Mitchell. Now there was some conversation about her possibly looking to leave the team after the season because of her comments. And I took nothing from her comments. That's something that any athlete should say in that situation. She's not re-signed next year, so when they asked her about the All-Star game being in Indiana next year, I could see why she was a little bit reserved and why she said them. Right now, she's not signed on for next year. To me, that was a professional response. But her comments after the game last night, in my opinion, really shows, where her heart lies or what she's thinking about as far as being a member of the team going forward.
Go Mike, then we'll go Matt.
Earlier, you were talking about getting comfortable with each other. I'm curious, Kelsey, from your standpoint, how would you describe the challenge of trying to get acclimated to the kind of passes that Caitlin makes, and vice versa for you, Caitlin, getting used to a whole new team?
I don't think it's necessarily a challenge, but you have to adjust. Obviously, things are different based on the basketball. You know, she was playing with Iowa and then come in and transition as a pro. And I think for us, we got to give her what she needs and be the resource. And kind of just fill out where she kind of needs us to fill those gaps in. I always say that C-Squared is one of those players where her IQ is going to take us a lot of places. And so you just really got to fill in where you fit in as far as like knowing how to read and adjust off her. And once you make that adjustment, I think it's really good basketball. So.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like somebody that's looking to lead the team next year. To me, like I said, those previous comments is just somebody who's looking forward to one of the biggest negotiations of their life and have to act accordingly. So great game from her. 50%. I've been on the train, the Kelsey Mitchell train from the beginning of the season. There was some pushback for some of the subscribers, but I believe at this point, if not everybody, most of you guys are on board with extending Kelsey Mitchell. Let me know in the comments if you're not. But I would like to say, Indiana Fever, please don't play with Kelsey Mitchell when it comes to these negotiations. Pay her. Just go ahead and pay her. Sign her up. I knew that she was a huge bucket getter and that the Indiana Fever would need somebody who's not always looking at Caitlin Clark to, create everything for her. Some of the buckets come from Caitlin Clark, but she can go get those on her own, as we've seen. And I love that. Caitlin Clark needs that, as well as the Indiana Fever. So I was already on the train of signing her up. I knew she was a huge bucket getter, but even I may have undervalued just how tough she is. We saw with the some of the crucial plays that she makes defensively. She's not a lockdown defender, but she makes timely plays. We saw it in the Minnesota game with that game sealing block. We saw it in the All Star game. I think it was Kelsey Plum trying to push up on her and gave her the shoulder. Get off of me, man. And gave her some buckets to go right behind that. We saw it last night with Natasha Cloud and that little dust up. More than her ability to get buckets, we need that grit. Re-sign her. Pay her what she's worth. Don't play with it. Don't play with it. All right. So yeah, 50% from the field, 28 points from her. It was a great game all around. 3 assists, 1 turnover. Also, Nalissa Smith and Aaliyah Boston, 13 and 9, 14 and 9, respectively. What I really liked was the game plan from Chrissy Sides to take Brittany Griner because we saw Brittany Griner and Kalia Copper destroy Chicago the night before. I don't know if you guys watched the game, but they had their way against the Chicago Sky. So, um, Chrissy Sides' decision to double immediately upon touch on Brittany Griner and make her swing, as well as the effort on the backside to get those rotations from the players out there, clap it up. It was beautiful to watch. She said, "Yo, Kalea Copper, go at it, have at it, but you're not gonna have Ka and Brittany Griner at the same time going off for like 25 points." And so I appreciated that defensive strategy, the fact that they stuck with it. I appreciated that there was no panic on the sideline. There was no forced, like desperate substitution pattern changes or anything like that. The timeouts all seemed timely. The energy overall, even after Kalea Copper hit that corner three and they went up 1 point, it always felt like composed and like we got this. Very professional. I will say it was one of the better coaching performances that I've seen from the Indiana Fever all season, just as far as poise and the way it was felt, just the energy. The energy felt like we got this, guys, and I love to see it. Got Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston the rest that they needed in the third quarter. That was really the worst quarter for the Indiana Fever, but she didn't rush and get them back in the game. She still got them to rest, and once they got back in, they took control of the game, and it was over with from there. I mean, clap it up, clap it up. All right, nothing more I can say about the coaching decisions going on there. Obviously, the same players who haven't played in the most recent games didn't. We call them run DNP around here at this point. Saxton, Wallace, and Berger. Nothing you can do with that. Everybody shorting their rotations at this point. Love to see Timmy Fag Bentley. I didn't know that this thumb injury was going to go this long. I didn't know that this was going to keep her sidelined for a whole 2 months basically. Can't wait to see her get back out there. I'm pretty sure coach feels the same because she was a huge part of the rotation early in the season, even started some games. So missing her, I mean, still playing well without her and knowing that she's coming back, that really, yeah, really makes me hopeful for the rest of the season and how the Indiana Fever are projecting. The Chicago Sky, I don't think they can catch them at this point. I thought they already needed another point guard, even when they had Mabry. But yeah, now unless they make another move, and it's really hard to make mid-season moves because they have a hard cap in the WNBA, so that's why you don't see a lot of mid-season, transactions. But unless they bring in another point guard, even with Kennedy Carter, I just don't see them getting it together. The pieces just don't mix. They don't work. They don't match, I should say. So matter of fact, the Atlanta Dream, now that they have Ryan Howard, Alicia Gray, London, they could actually come back and take that spot from the Chicago Sky. I think that's more likely than the Chicago Sky catching the Indiana Fever, to be honest with you. So right now, just looking ahead to see if we can take that spot from the Phoenix Mercury. Looking ahead, huge game against the Seattle Storm, and I say huge because 6 day break after that. 6 day break for the Indiana Fever. You definitely want to go into that break on a high note. You don't want to let the Seattle Storm bounce back after the loss they just took against the much improved looking Atlanta Dream. So looking forward to that game tomorrow. I'm hoping that they have this exact same energy. Maybe not the third quarter that they had, but either way, as long as we get the result, that's what I'm here for. No game's going to be perfect. So on that note, that's all I have for you guys. Man, that game looked good. I'll talk to you guys on the next video. Until then, peace.